My name is James Finies. I'm born on Bonaire, born our Bonairean parents, Bruce Finies and Alba Christian, which from Rincon, family Rincon, and my mother from Antreal, North Salinha. So my grandparents are also born in Bonaire. So if I go back to my roots, I call myself indigenous Bonairean because it roots back to people from the island as far as I can go. So that's for one part. So, but myself, how I get involved in the, let's say, in the struggle of what I'm doing today is because in 2010, the Antilles was dissolved. The dissolution of Netherlands Antilles, there were, before that, I saw the movement that were referendums held on the islands, and I catch that something was not going in the right direction because it was thinking about dissolving the islands and then get a direct relationship with Holland. So I was figuring out how it's possible then if we cannot work with our brothers, but they say, our political leaders say we have to break with Curacao and other islands because they take the money. I was thinking, how is possible if you can work with your neighbors, with your brothers, because we all are family on these islands, how come you can go work with someone else who colonized you so far over the ocean there, who has other culture, other ways of thinking. So my thought, this is something very wrong. We are going to go after it. So then I stood up and I object directly that this is not going right. So from that moment I spoke up. My life changed because what I understood that people cannot speak up on this island, on Bonaire for sure. As soon as you speak up, if you're not affiliated to a group, a political group of something, there will be repercussions against them, and then you will disappear from the. So, but I felt that because when I spoke up at my work, everything changed. I have to abandon my work because the compression from the political, I think, for somewhere, and then somewhere I abandoned my work where I worked over 23 years as a bank. I was in a management level at the time. I just stepped out and walked away from the work because I feel my voice of my right to decide or speak for myself is more important than anything in the world. So that decision I took actually at the time to step away from what they say is from what we were and beyond myself to continue understanding. And by 10, when this was going to the Antilles was going to be dissolved, and Bonaire was going to be incorporated in Holland, in the Best Island together with Sint-Eustatius and Saba. There I didn't know how far, what else can be done because I wasn't involved in no political thing. I was just a citizen, yes, and I was in sports. That was my life before I did anything with it. I was a sportsman, but then at the time I said, something sure we have to do something about this. So when I saw nothing more can be done, that because a couple of days then I decided to write an objection letter. I read up in the United Nations, I look up on internationally what is going on, then I read decolonization on the United Nations, and then I understood the whole story actually. Then I understood I read our history the first time actually at the time when I was trying to find out the last week before 10 because I have to do something. Then I understand that we had rights. I had rights. And the rights was that called self-determination rights. So what was going to happen was against our rights, violation of our rights. So I couldn't do more anymore. I write like when you have a problem with the justice. So if you object, yes, that somebody do something, you object against it, then you have some legal ground in the future that you didn't agree. Because if you remain silent, I understand it as agreeing. So that was my point. I started to fight with that. I say no. I read up. I say I don't agree, and I write a letter to the Dutch, all Dutch authorities, starting from the Bonaire, the governor, the Netherlands Antilles governor, the government, the Staten, the Dutch government, the Queen. At the time was Queen was in the power of from the Dutch, because the Queen, I wrote a letter to all of them and say, today you violate my rights, and for me, my 2 kids, because I had 2 underage kids. I say, my and my 2 underage kids' rights are being violated by your action. So because of that, this is illegal, and I will not, I'm not bound to this illegal state. That was my thought at the time, because if you do something wrong, something illegal, and you tell me, and I remain quiet, then I agree with it. That's how I thought at the time, because I was by myself, I do it by myself. My own thought was this, and that's how everything started for me. Then that letter, that I say I free myself from this, because I'm not part of this. I'm not bound to your illegal action, actually. That was my position. 8th of October, that letter, I faxed it everywhere. 2010, just before 10/10 happened, because then I know I did it before, so you can tell me later that you was okay with it. I was never okay with what happened, and it's legal. For me, it was a legal point. I write it in my own way, and the letter stands up today. But with that, that's how everything started in this moment for me.
And tell me a little bit about you growing up on Bonaire when you were young compared to Bonaire you know today.
Well, yes, of course, big changes. Everybody can say development, right? Because sometimes you say you're against development. No, we're not against development. The difference is when we were there, we were a people, right? We were happy. I said it, we were poor and happy. That's how I describe it. Because we were free to do our things. We were moving free. We were having much, but we were happy.
When you say free, can you say a couple of examples of the freedom you had back then to now?
Simple things. For example, we used to sea. The sea is our house. We live with the sea. We every day in the sea, doing everything we want with the sea and the nature. So we grow up catching iguanas, birds, and things like that, and fishing, and swimming, and fishing, those things. But that changed dramatically, because now, compared to now, everything, the things are being put rules on it. Most of the coast and the seaside has been taken away from the locals. The locals doesn't have any possession actually anymore at the seaside. So places become like private property. The beaches we moved to are being part of some development. So we lose, not like in Aruba of other Caribbean islands where the beaches are for everyone. Even yes, development is there, but the beach is for the people too. But there, that piece of land will become property, and then you can access it anymore. So we are being pushed from all our, where we were normally grow up with doing things at the seaside and things, and we cannot access those things because there's a hotel there, and the hotel says you can pass, but then they will discriminate you. They will see you as someone who's gonna disturb the thing. So that is just not the Bonaire. And not next to that, there's also there are a lot of nature conservation organization who come put regulation on us to protect the nature. They say, but we protect the nature before them. We at the island protect the nature because we live from the nature. The nature, it was our source of life. So somebody come tell us what to do with our nature that we protect it. That's unacceptable. Someone from some other county who destroyed everything, they destroyed that. That's why you're on our island now. Because they destroyed the whole county destroyed with the nature, and now they come to tell us on Bonaire what to do with the nature. That's unacceptable. So those type of things are things that are confrontational with our way of life, because we live a way of life that we know tomorrow we have to eat from the same sea. Tomorrow we have to eat from that, so we won't destroy it. Because we destroy it, we have nothing. But they destroyed everything. They come and tell us now what to do. and take away from us too, because they put rules that we cannot use those things anyway. They cannot do this, you cannot do that. So those are unacceptable for us as a way we used to live. So that's one part of the life we had, let's say, on that part. But other parts are also that our customs, our way, our traditional things, our cultural activities we had are under heavy pressure. Why? Because there is an influx of immigration. The immigration of towards this island, the Bonaire, has become our major problem, a major threat to our island, our people, because the immigration has been open, yes, after this Dutch takeover. We call it illegal annexation because they take us over by force, not by democracy. It wasn't democratic. People but never decide to do this. That's another part of the story. But because of the influx by immigration by the immigrants, mostly Dutch, we become a minority today. So on Bonaire, we are less than 40% of the population since 2019. It changed because before they wasn't showing the figures. We know it, we feel it, and we start speaking out. But the figures, the statistics was hidden for the people. When they expose it, the people understand they already become a minority on the island. So by 2030, the statistics show that we will be less than 1/3 of the population. So we as the Bonairean people, where the population is doubling, they say development is not for us. It's not for the island people who are there because they will disappear. We are disappearing and we will disappear in time. So that is another big issue. That's for us the major issue at this moment because our struggle, we can fight it for 30, 40, 50 years next. We have to do it now because in 10, 20 years, we have no power, no democratic power because every Dutch citizen that come to reside in Bonaire, he step out of the plane, he needs an address on the island, no other conditions, no other, he will register and vote in 3 months. So with that, we are lost.
So you would say that the Bonaireans are going extinct?
That is the path we're on it. And it's not the first time it happened in the world. People disappear in the world. And the signs are there, the figures are there, but we have to bring this aware. That's why we will make everything possible that people become aware on our sister islands and the world. The problem is not what they see on the television, in the news today or tomorrow, our political issue. We have a bigger problem. The problem is the Bonairean people are going to be extinct soon if we don't intervene. We have the other people that understand the help. We can't do it ourselves anymore because we don't have no representation at any level. Not in the Dutch system. We have no democratic representation to stop no law for us, to stop nothing, to change nothing. We are not represented in any forum, and even locally, regionally, or internationally, we are not represented. So we have a big problem. Our major problem is that we don't have a way, a power to stop this. We have to get power from outside to help us stop this.
I'm glad you mentioned that because my next question is about what happened in 1954 and 1955 with the Nederlandse Antillen and with the United Nations.
That is where it went wrong for us. In 1955, after the World War, when the United Nations was formed, where our rights were born. That's how I explain, how I say it. Our international rights were born. The human rights we have today come from that. And also the self-determination rights we have is part of the human rights that we have as humans, as island people, have the right to develop, to grow, but maintaining its own culture, its own language, and own norms and values, and own tradition, everything. That is a right of our people, and to govern themselves. That is a right of any people. It doesn't matter if it's small or big. That's a right of any people. But in that is called self-governance. And United Nations stand with the world together to help every people get that right. exercise. But Holland, as we know from history, has always had a tricky way to deal with everything. I say tricky today, as bigger words for that. So he tricked everybody, our leaders at the time in 1955, who went with them to the United Nations with a statute, they call it statute, tell the United Nations and the world that we are equal, that we on this island are equal to Holland. That was our leaders told the United Nations and the world said, okay, if you're equal, we doubt it, because the statute that we have, the islands got, wasn't clear that we are equal. Holland remained a power over this island, so we were never equal. But they managed to, with that, to get us, Bonaire, and the Netherlands Antilles, I talk about Bonaire now, Netherlands Antilles, from the list of United Nations that was on the scrutiny of United Nations to seek yearly the development of the islands, how it developed under the colonizer power. There where Holland managed to take us off the list of United Nations. So from that time in 1955, the world doesn't know any internal issues of these islands. First, it doesn't know because Holland has no reporting obligation to no one. But secondly, they cannot intervene because it's an internal affairs of Holland and the Dutch Kingdom. And who is the Dutch Kingdom? It's Holland. Holland has the political power and also has an international representation on issues. So internationally, nobody can deal with us, can question, or can intervene. So there, it went completely wrong with us. And that's why today I'm sitting here, because if that was international, of regional, or whatever scrutiny involvement, it wouldn't go too far, because this what's happening is impossible in this modern world. United Nations even declared this as a crime against humanity, what's going on with us. But because it's internal affairs of Holland, nobody can get involved at this point in time, because it's hidden. It's hidden because we are on a so-called political arrangement that Holland take away our power and have the sole representation internationally. So we have no international voice to speak out about our issues. So that is where it went completely wrong with the International United Nations when they take us off the list in 1955.
And what's your goal now? To get back on the list?
We see this as our only way out to save the people of Bonaire, because otherwise we'll be extinct.
Tell me a little bit more about how are you guys planning to get back on the list?
Okay. The list is for us the only solution, because actually all islands in the Caribbean who are now free or have their autonomy or have their own people governing them has been on the list. There's a protection of the United Nations to guide that political process. Some will take 10 years, 50 years, 100 years, some maybe more. It doesn't matter. Every people has his own right to develop. But that right can be taken away from us. It has been taken away from us on 10 October 2010. Our autonomy was taken away, reversed completely. We have nothing autonomy now. We are in a straight colonial structure now. A state colonial rule. That is what's happening. So the only way we can have some kind of reversal, of stopping of this, if we get back on that list. Because then it's not only what Holland will dictate a narrative to what the news and things will, it will be international issue back, where the United Nations, through the Committee of Decolonization, C24 they call it, has a list of countries that still are non-self-governing territories, like we are now, but we are not listed, that they guide and be part of the yearly meetings and also yearly reporting. So Holland will have then to report yearly to the United Nations about our development on all fields, economically, socially, culturally, politically, right? Educational. So that is a different side that never Holland had to do in our development. and this island is vulnerable for sure. So that is for us the only way we see that we may, if we can get back to a possibility to save the Bonaireans from extinction, but also to recover back our autonomy, what is illegally taken from us. It's a crime actually to take people's autonomy from them, the right to govern themselves. So this is where we understood that, and we start a trajectory to get back on the list of the United Nations.
So you don't even want reparation money, nothing like that. You just want to get back on the list.
Yes, the first step for anything for us is back on the list.
Because some people, would say, oh, Bonaireans are just, they just want to do it for money, and they just want reparation money for the bad times they had and the way they were treated in the past. You're saying we're doing this completely for equality and for your people to get their rights back.
Yes, the rights are everything. Without the rights, you're nothing. Without you the right to decide today what you're going to do next, you are nothing. So that is the case with us, and any people has that right. So everything starts there. That is the most fundamental right. That part we miss completely. So we try to make the discussion to another level, but the first fundamental step, we didn't make it because we were reversed back to that. So this is not about money. This is about rights. Rights we inherit because we come from a colonized time, inherit, and rights we acquired through our history, colonial history. And this right is not because I'm saying it. This right, everybody can go look it up. It's written international fundamental rights, human rights, self-determination rights, democratic rights, development rights. These belong to our people. It's nothing to do with a government. Government has nothing to do with this. You are born with rights. Government doesn't give you rights. Government has three functions. He has to respect our rights. He has to protect our rights. He has to comply with our rights. That's only the three functions of government. Everybody mistake this about governments. They have to, again, respect our rights, protect our rights, and comply with our rights. But that is not what the case is now. So first, our rights has to be restored, to respect them, to protect them, and comply with them. Then we can talk about everything else. At this moment, we don't have any rights as a human being, because the first right of a human being is a democratic right to decide himself what is good or bad for them. On his own island, we don't have that because all decisions are taken in The Hague. You vote, but the people you vote for is the local, they call it local government, has no power to decide, has no power to make the laws. The laws are made The Hague. They have no power of our tax money that we pay as citizens. Citizens, the first obligation of a citizen is to pay tax. Against that obligation, you get the right to decide what you do with your tax money. That is civilization. That's democracy and civilization. We are out of that because we pay taxes. Our government we pay taxes to cannot decide over it because Holland decide in Holland over our tax, and we have no accountability for our tax money. So we pay tax, and nobody can say, we have to show us still up to date. They didn't show us either on this money what they do with our tax money. So we are living in some kind of pre-colonial era, but modern, because everybody will stand up tomorrow, go to work, read the newspaper, and so. But this is not being talked about it, because everybody think they have to survive the next day and the next day. So we are in big trouble in Bonaire. One of the reasons I think where it got so far with our situation on Bonaire is because the people cannot speak out. They cannot. You can say we live in a democracy. We can say we live in a free country. We have a right to expression, but that is, I say that is hypothetically, because in practically, the moment you speak out on issues like this, you will be targeted on the island. You will be be bullied, and you will be intimidated, and you will have repercussions against you. So what happened with me, I cut out of the system, I said. I dropped out of the system that I feel free, I'm free to speak out. And when most of the people cannot do that. Or you have to be allied with a political party. When allied with a political party, it will be politics, So it won't come to this level because they have to take a conversations with how they work with the Dutch and things like that. So our problem is big because this message cannot come out. I'm one of the only one who could have be independently, not attached to any political movement of political issues, to speak out on this. And everybody else mostly have a problem because, I give you an example, even a simple thing like a Facebook posting. You understand, we are living now in 2021. No? Don't say no. Don't say no. You're scared of people? Go. Okay, well, okay. Okay, so what we noticed that there should be more awareness on this field. For example, even our brothers in Aruba and Curaçao still up to date think that we choose for this ourselves. That's why they're telling us up to date, 2021, 10 years after, and 2004 was a referendum. So they never choose for what we're in. Contrary, the Bonaire people rejected this in a referendum. In a referendum, they voted, say, the question was, do you agree with the status you have been put in 2010? The people, 66% voted no, rejected. But this message, this rejection, this is not being the narrative. Everyone wants to forget that. And because we're not talking about it, saying that people's rights are being violated here, so it continues. So our other people on our island, Aruba, Curaçao, and the whole Caribbean should know that the Bonaire people are living in a status they rejected against their wishes. That is happening. That's not democracy, what we world stand of ever said. So this is one important part that has to be understood, that why we are in this problem. We are here today because it's being ignored by everyone. Because much more can be done in our view, to put attention that we can be safe as Bonairean people. Because this is a real big problem for us. If this message doesn't come across to others to stand with us, help us, then we will, when we have a chance to survive this.
Tell me a little bit more about, you want independence for your country?
No, at this moment, no. Okay. No, what we're looking for, we're not looking for independence. We're looking for the right to get back on the United Nations list, to be protected on the United Nations resolutions and all mechanism of human rights. That is for us the most important step. Then we can restore our rights back on the island. So we're not looking at no constitutional issues now. You just want we have a right to be protected as a people now. That's what we're fighting, to go back on the list, and then we can start over the whole decolonization process and be protected, and to maintain, to maintain our culture, maintain our language, to maintain our norms and values, our tradition, our way of life. That is our dignity as human beings. That is what we're fighting for at this moment, as humans, to protect that.